Hi, I'm Jordan from Kettner Creative. In this video, we're going to show you how to set up and connect the Shure SM7B dynamic microphone with the Yamaha AG06 Audio Mixer. In this video, we're mostly focused on, is this microphone compatible with this mixer? Does this mixer have enough gain to power this microphone correctly? What settings would I use? Do you need an inline preamp like the Cloudlifter or many others? There's a whole bunch of different inline preamps that you can choose from. And how does this sound? And to let you know how this sounds and to show you how to set everything up and connect it. We do have a whole playlist on the Yamaha AG06 that you can check out, and it has more detailed setup information if you're connecting other devices. This video is just focused on the Shure SM7B and the settings I would use if I'm using this microphone with this audio mixer. If you're looking for pricing on anything that you see in this video, anything that we're trying or connecting to the audio mixer, we do have links to everything that you see in this video down in the description below. So please check those links out if you're looking to buy them. We do have current up-to-date pricing at a variety of online retailers just to make it as easy as possible for you. So for the purposes of this video, we do have the Yamaha AG06 already connected to our computer, and we are already recording there, just using the USB output of the mixer. We're also using the input mix mode on the Yamaha AG06 just to send the whole mix from the Yamaha AG06 to the recording. So now we can connect the Shure SM7B to the Yamaha AG06. So we'll grab our XLR cable here. We'll connect it to the bottom of the Shure SM7B, and we'll connect it to the first channel of the audio mixer. So this is a dynamic microphone. A dynamic microphone does not need phantom power, so we don't need to turn on that plus 48 volts of phantom power button there. We can leave that off. Turning that on won't hurt this microphone. In my experience, it doesn't cause any noise or anything like that. It's super rare that phantom power would affect a dynamic microphone, but it won't make it sound better. So the general best rule there is just to leave it off unless you actually do need it. So we're going to leave it off for this. Next, I'm going to plug in my headphones so I can hear what I'm doing. Another reminder on the Yamaha AG06 is that if you're using the headphone jack here, it can be overridden. So if you're having some issues with your headphones, you might have something plugged in that other one there. Okay, and then now we're going to set the gain on this mixer. So what the gain does is it brings this tiny microphone level signal coming from the Shure SM7B, and it boosts it to a signal that would be appropriate for our computer. So to do that, we're going to turn this level knob all the way up to 8 out of 10. You can see that bigger mark there. On Yamaha mixers, it's recommended that you set the level first when you're doing online streaming or something like that. Next, we're going to turn up the gain on this microphone channel here, on the first channel. What we're hoping to do is we're hoping to see the signal light come, and we're going to turn it up until we see it peak. So you can see it peak there. If we look over in Logic, we can see that we're peaking at about minus 2.3. So I think we have a pretty good level with this. So I'm going to turn it down. I usually back it off about 1.5 points, just so we have a little bit of headroom there. Now if we look over in Logic, I'm just going to reset the meter here. So you can see that we're coming in at about minus 11.8. This is a really good level to be recording a video like the one I'm recording right now. When I'm recording, I generally try to stick between minus 11 and minus 18. That gives me lots of headroom in case I'm animated. My opening line, I say, "Hey, I'm Jordan from Kettner Creative." I'm quite a bit louder when I say that typically, so I do want that headroom just in case I am louder so I don't risk peaking. But if you are live streaming, you will want to cheat that closer to minus 6. When you get closer to minus 6 there, it's more appropriately set up for your online guests. If you set your gain like I have it right now, where you're peaking around minus 11, you will get complaints from people online saying you're not loud enough. So in that case, I'm just going to turn up the gain a little bit. So we're really aiming for that just over 9 out of 10 there. And you can see here that we're peaking at minus 10. I'm going to go just a little bit more. So what you can see here is that, yes, we can get the gain that we need out of this mixer. Now, one issue typically with audio mixers, and this one's no exception, is that if you are boosting this for streaming, I'm just resetting the meter here, so you can see that I'm at minus 6.7. One issue, when you push the preamp past 9 out of 10, you do get a noticeable hiss. It does make more noise because it's working so hard to boost this tiny signal coming from the microphone into the audio mixer, into the recording there. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to pause for 5 seconds just so you can hear the silence. And then we're going to try the Cloudlifter and then compare the silence from using a Cloudlifter and hopefully using less gain on the audio mixer. So first, let's do 5 seconds of silence. So that's what the preamp sounds like in its current form. Now let's disconnect all this. We'll try it again with the Cloudlifter to see if you can hear a difference. Then you'll know whether or not you need an inline preamp like the Cloudlifter. So I'm going to turn all this down, and then we can unplug this cable. So we'll plug the microphone now. The microphone will go into the Cloudlifter. Any inline preamp, like I said, will work for you. There's a whole bunch. Cloudlifter is probably the most popular. I don't really have my finger on the pulse. It's just the one that I have kicking around, and it seems to work well, so I haven't bothered to buy any others. But I'm sure if you go online, there's plenty of people that recommend other ones as well. Okay, so now the Cloudlifter is connected. So now we're going to turn up the level like we did before, and we're going to turn up the gain. Now you're going to see here, we're getting no level, nothing like that. And the reason for that is the Cloudlifter requires 48 volts of phantom power. So we spoke earlier, the Shure SM7B doesn't require phantom power because it's a dynamic microphone, but the Cloudlifter does need that power, so we need to turn it on. So I'm going to turn the levels down, turn on 48 volts of phantom power. You'll see this little light turn on there. And now we're going to do that again. We're going to bring the level up, and then we can bring the gain up. As we bring the gain up, we're going to keep turning it up until it peaks, all the way until it peaks right there, and then we're going to back it down. Now I'm going to cheat by just looking over in Logic to see where I'm peaking at, but generally you turn it down a point or so from there. So you can see right now I'm peaking at -4, and we're at 6 out of 10 instead of 9 out of 10. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. Let's go back to that -6, because the point I was making is that you do need this gain if you're live streaming, and if you're live streaming, you're really going for that -6 peaking there. So I think this is a good level here. So you can see here we're just past 50%, and now I'm going to pause for a second just so you can hear how loud the hiss is now when we're using the Cloudlifter. And now I'm going to pause to compare the two sounds there. So we're going to do 5 seconds of the one without the Cloudlifter, and then we're going to do 5 seconds of the one with the Cloudlifter. Perfect. So now you should have an idea. If you can't hear the difference, then don't get the Cloudlifter. I haven't listened to it yet on playback, but I would assume that it would be a little bit quieter with the Cloudlifter. But I will leave some comments down in the description of this video with the final verdict once I've heard it all played back. But I would assume it's a couple points quieter when the Cloudlifter is in line there. So another couple things that we do want to talk about with this microphone, like I said, we're cheating this close to -6. You can see now that my current peak is -2.9. We really want to protect against hitting 0, and one way that you can do that is by putting a compressor in. So I'm going to click on the compressor. So what the compressor does is it will take everything above a certain level and it'll squash it down at a ratio. So if we go, say, above -24 dB, it'll compress everything above that by, say, 1 to 4 or 1 to 3. So it tries to make it as natural as possible, but you do hear the compressor kicking in. If you look over at the software that comes with this mixer, you can see that you have all types of options. You can drag this around to find a setting that works for you. The higher that you go here, the less compression there is. As you lower the threshold here, you can see that the gain reduction there of the compressor is kicking in, and I'm sure you can hear it too. You can change the ratio. Generally, I recommend keeping the ratio about 3.5 or 4. Something like that is a pretty good setting. I'm just going to go back to the default here. You can play to these settings depending on your voice and your taste. And you do also get this EQ window here, so you can play around with maybe putting a 400 hertz cut, and you can add like a 2K boost or something like that if you want. Those are pretty common settings if you're doing video streaming and you're just trying to get your vocal to stand out among game noise or something like that. Now I'm going to turn the compressor and EQ off so you can hear the difference again. another thing that's popular depending on what you're doing. A lot of people do live stream. I know a lot of people contact us because they're trying to do like a vocal performance on a Zoom call or something like that. So if that's what you're into, then you can click on this effect thing. And with this effect setting here, you can get all types of reverb. If you go to the software again, you can change it. I like a room reverb, and then you can play around with the settings here and the variables at will. Something like stage is also super popular as well. It really depends how many people are in your group and really what you're trying to do. But there's lots of options that are built into the software, but I'll turn that off. So you can experiment with those. Generally, I find the effects and the compressor that are built into it are a pretty good starting point. So it's hard to recommend what the best setting is without hearing your voice. I do think the reverb comes in pretty heavy by default, so I would turn this level knob down just to reduce it a little bit. But again, you can play with that and find what works for you. Aside from that, everything else is pretty straightforward. Like I said, we do have a more detailed video where we walk through every single feature of this audio mixer. We'll have that link down in the description below. We have a whole playlist of videos, and that's the first video in the playlist. So please check that out. If you do have any other questions about the Shure SM7B and the Yamaha AG06 Audio Mixer, please leave it down in the comment section below. We do want to make sure that we're answering all the common questions, and we will make a follow-up video if there's something that we missed in this video. Again, if you do want pricing or specs for anything that you see in this video, the mic, the cable, the stand, the Cloudlifter, the mixer, anything like that, we do have links down in the description below, again, with current up-to-date pricing from a variety of online retailers. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.